newspaper billionaires have been hiding the truth about the climate and ecological emergency to protect their investments. All fossil fuel investment must end now.
Emergency. Checking heart rhythm. Emergency. Emergency.
Stand by, preparing to shock.
Emergency. Emergency.
Everyone clear. Delivering shock.
Emergency. Vital signs low.
The Earth's vital signs are dangerously low. Government, finance, and the media need to tell the truth about the climate and ecological emergency and act now before we are out of time.
Emergency. 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 Vital signs low.
In fact, more than two policies, actively detrimental to your health. The Jackdaw gas field and plus many other North Sea oil and gas fields which they're approving, and also the loophole in the windfall tax. And they're doing all of this for the benefit of their donors and for the benefit of the shareholders of Shell and BP, whilst telling you that they are doing this in order to tackle the cost of living crisis, when actually there are hundreds of policies that people have told them they can do to deal with the cost of living crisis, like a mass retrofitting program, like properly taxing the energy companies and bringing them into public ownership. And they are choosing not to do this. They are choosing to do harm. They are choosing to approve new oil fields and avoid talking about the real solutions in mass retrofitting programs, renewable energy investment, and so many other options. They are choosing to do harm to you, and they are choosing to fail to deal with the energy crisis. And they want you to think that climate protesters are their enemy. They want you to think that climate protesters are the ones who want to reduce your quality of life, when they are actively avoiding a future. We could have clean energy, cheap energy for everyone in this country and globally. We could have mass retrofitted houses. We could have all of this if the government wasn't prioritising the profits of Shell and BP over all of our quality of life. And I think an important thing to recognise here, as we stand, they want you to think that climate protesters are their enemy. They want you to think that climate protesters need to be arrested. The real criminals are the people in government and the oil companies who are putting your future at risk knowingly. And they will keep blaming other people. We have seen that they are implementing a horrifically hostile refugees and asylums and migrant policy to deport people to Rwanda for arriving in this country illegally, which, by the way, is impossible under international law. They want you to think that migrants and refugees are your enemy. They want you to think that the people who have contributed least to the climate crisis and who are having to run from wars and from environmental devastation because of the emissions of the UK are your enemy. Sorry. So when it comes to fighting the climate crisis, we have to realise that this is not the everyday person. This is the government and it's the fossil fuel companies. And they're doing it and they know they're doing it and they're going to try and blame other people. And we have to come together and realise that they're not going to save us. The greenwashing is not going to save us. Only coming together and realising that we are better if we build a society which actually puts all of our well-being over the profits of Shell. And because it's not too much to ask. Right? We're having to sit in the middle of a road to ask that the government not put our lives at risk for the sake of Shell shareholders. That is not too much to ask. So we're here to tell you, we're not here to tell you to recycle more. We're here to tell you to join the movement, to oppose the Jackdaw gas field, to fight against the government's prioritisation of Shell and BP over people living in poverty in this country, over the people in the global south who have contributed nothing to this crisis. We're here to ask you, because it is in all of our interests to oppose it. people who it is not in their interest to deal with the climate crisis in an equitable way, to build retrofitted homes, to implement public energy, to implement a public transport system. The only people who it's not in their interests are the people who are currently making billions off the destruction of the planet. So please join us, join your local movement. There are so many ways to join this fight, no matter what your capacity is, no matter where you live in the UK, no matter who you are, unless you are a white rich man in Westminster on the board of Shell or BP, it is in your interest to join this movement. So thanks everyone, see you next time.
Consequences of climate change. For the last 5 decades, especially East Africa is suffering from frequent droughts, resulting in millions to die, more millions to be displaced, and hundreds of thousands to flee their home continent, and they are called on the north refugees. This is happening now. You know that Madagascar is suffering from drought and flooding. Mozambique is suffering with recurrent cyclone, especially today in East Africa. Kenya, Ethiopia, Djibouti, Somalia are confronting severe drought and starvation with 14 million people. Each 48 seconds, one person is dying. So here I am asking you, in the name of those millions of people in limbo, please, the UK government, don't invest in fossil fuels, which exacerbates the death of our members of the planet, Africans. Thank you very much.